All right, I'm going to start off with a poem that was published in a local swim newsletter. I was watching my daughter, not the one who I brought with me, that's Juliana back there, but that's why I'm opening with this, because I thought she might enjoy this one. I was watching her sister, Beth, do some swimming at the local Freedom Center, and Beth's lesson was very interesting, and Beth enjoys swimming, but I couldn't help but notice all of the more experienced swimmers to her left in the lanes who were a little bit older, and they inspired this poem. It's called Cyclic Nature. They look like spokes on a wheel, turning, these teams of swimmers, practicing their overhead crawl in this vast pool, the white of the bobbing buoys in the background. Like numerous cogs on one synchronized machine, their uniformity compels. Like a flock of geese flying in a southerly V, they radiate beauty. Like the kicking legs of cartwheeling children, they captivate. And now the spray of water shoots up above their submerged bodies. Together, these many parts make a thunderous whole that awakes in me a wish for second youth. People always ask me if I write poems for my children, and I do a lot of things for my children, but I don't write many poems for them. So that's why I wanted to share that one first, because Juliana's here, and although that one came from being with her sister, I thought it was a good poem for her to hear. And maybe she'll not listen to the rest of them, because although they're not necessarily inappropriate, they're not children's poetry. So, but maybe that's because I do so many other things with and for my children that poetry has been, up until this point at least, kind of my thing. This one is for all of you who have ever had to go to the DMV, and I'm sure at some point in your lives you've had to, although I understand that the process is easier these days, and that the next time I have to renew my license, I may not have to go to the actual office. But after hearing me read this poem, you may not be surprised to find out that I may very well choose to go, even if I can renew online. So this one's called Love and Loathing in the DMV Office. I am in love with this DMV, with its beige tile squares and matching walls, with a reassuring female computer voice who calls out letter and number combinations, each random utterance a flutter in my heart that my turn has come. I am in love with the woman who wears gold hoops and has orange hair, whose line you stand in to get your number for the real line, so that when you sit down, you're grateful. I am in love with the crew-cut man who wears his sunglasses not on his head as others do, but above his eyebrows, whose Nirvana's muscle shirt takes me back to Kurt Cobain's terrible pain and the way he sounded live. And now I'm deeply in love with this mother to my left, who had the nutty notion to bring all 4 of her children to this place. I am in love with the way she hasn't stopped fussing at them since we all arrived. Stop and no formed on her full pink lips, blonde hair swept up in a ponytail. I'm in love with the way she stands at the counter now in her tight denim crop pants, baby on her hip, his left fist balled into his mouth, and I am in love with the way they expected something wonderful to happen once they got called up, but how so far nothing has. I'm in love with these numbered windows and with my turning 40, which is why I'm here, and with the fact that nothing's changed since the last time I visited the DMV. That in the midst of war, recession, and free Wi-Fi, we can still count on the sameness of bureaucracy. A slow room crowded with so many hapless people and these hard plastic chairs whose backs give just a little bit when you push, stretch, and sigh, settling in to wait for your number to be called, while outside these walls, the world is happy to go on without you. This one hasn't been picked up anywhere yet. Well, I haven't sent it, so I guess in order for it to be published, it would have to be sent out first. There's that order of things. The last one I read to you was published in the Piedmont Journal. I wrote it when I was on residency at Ovalar with the VCCA in France a couple of years back. And so my first publication of that was actually a reading in France, and needless to say, when the poem was translated into French and it was about an American bureaucracy, it didn't necessarily go over that well. There wasn't a real understanding of that subject. This next one, though, it's not out there yet, but it's out here because I've made it a part of what I read when I go to readings, and it's called Another View of Icarus, and it was inspired, like a number of my poems, by art. So this one is Another View of Icarus. On the horizon it hangs, that gaseous ball, the sun, its lower third already engulfed in water like you, my drowning son, whose head is pulled below by panic and gravity and what's left of watery wax. Your legs flail, but no one notices, and I, too distant to save you now, see this anew each time I gaze at Bruegel's canvas. Though it happened years ago, I chasten you still, for the years without you were for me like living without the sun, without the water, both necessary, both deadly. And still, it hangs there, that blazing ball whose fusion flowing out and whose gravity pressing down holds both life and death, like I, who wish I'd never fashioned such wings, never taken you on such a journey. Curious boy, too tempted to survive.